But when we lose compassion for each other and take each other to task, we help the evil. If my behavior impacts you in such a way that you are worn out and cannot function, then I become an ally of those who work against you. So we are the architects of our own misery and our own failures because of what we do know and what we fail to do based upon what we know, and a refusal to make the sacrifices. Shaka Zulu, and we like to call upon Shaka Zulu, he did not allow the junior members in his army to have wives at gender. Once they became seniors, had spent their time in combat and had defended the land, they moved to another category. They become husbands and fathers. Nothing against females, nothing. But to maintain a standing army, there has to be sacrifice. And because of the great power of women, great power, they have great power. And because of the weakness of men not knowing how to embrace that power, we're wanting to control and manage and exercise false leadership over women. All kinds of conflict there. But if we brothers are honest, in the presence of sisters, women have great power. Great, I can't say it too many times, great power. The energy that they emanate. Great power. And we've not learned how to deal with that. We seek to lose ourselves in that power. We take refuge in that power. But not really respectful of the power. We want to enjoy the benefits of the power, but not be responsible. And responsibility means we build a safe zone where the woman can live, where the child can live, where the elders can live. We build that. That's what we're called upon to do. And before we brothers can do that, we must bond together and work with each other. We must love each other, be supportive of each other. But we fail to do that because we bought into rugged individualism, which is the American way. To be divided, to be disconnected, and to do your own thing. If the neighbor next door, if he can't do his thing the way you do yours, he flounders and he fails, what do you care? You're living your life. If you lose a finger on your hand, it neutralizes you to some degree. You may not know how important the next door neighbor is, why they are your neighbor, why they've been placed there. You let them drown. We really don't see this thing. We really don't see it. For all the talking, all the words, and all the celebrations, we really don't see the essence of this. And the essence is, unless you know how the mind works, you cannot use the benefits that have been presented to you. You have to know how the mind works. How the ego works. And the ego always seeks an advantage over another human being. It does. The man seeks advantage over the woman seeks advantage over the man. The children seek advantage over the parents. The parents struggle to maintain advantage over the children. It's a struggle. It's a struggle. Because that's the nature of unawoken human beings is to live in conflict and to struggle. Live in contradiction and to struggle. The warrior is one who lives with self-assessment. Where am I at this very moment? What is it that I'm doing? And am I consistent from day to day? Is my behavior consistent? Your lungs are consistent, you're still breathing. Your heart is consistent, it's still beating. All of the vital signs, if they're consistent, you're healthy. If they're inconsistent, you're not healthy. When you know how the mind works, then you know how to balance the 5 elements. The 5 elements are the constituent elements of the body and mind, the constituent elements of the universe, of creation. So when you know how the mind works, you understand how the 5 constituent elements work. Without understanding that, everything else that you do will be hit or miss. You'll have some because of karma, good fortune, personal ability. You'll have some successes and some failures. But there won't be a consistency. There won't be a pattern of living that can be discerned and used as a measurement for you to measure where you are. Because everything that we experience, everything, has a positive and negative side, even the good things that happen to you. And the thing that is consistent is the disconnect between what we experience here today and how we apply it tomorrow. There's going to be a disconnect, various degrees of disconnect. I'm not saying it's a good or bad thing. It's unfortunate, but I'm not condemning human beings. When we know how the mind works, we know how to override the disconnect.